Vitae, friends. I am Vitaly Portnikov. On the 734th day, the cob of guilt is about to end. Israel and the terrorist organization Hamas have reached agreements for the fate of all those Israeli assistants who have been buried for 2023 lesson and are overestimated from the living. And so about the supply of combat days in the Gaza Strip. We can persuade the counselor to reach the American President Donald Trump. In front of their defenses for the greatest landing with the received states, the blame is on the near end, and Zvol is all the helper. She is so far the worst crock before the situation stabilizes at a close gathering. And the guilt in the region significantly ruined the US international situation, and was given as signs on the rich and important conflicts on the very side of Russia against Ukraine. The completion of guilt at a close outcome is such a high-ranking line of prospects for the American administration to be very important, and seriously put up to critical points on the map of Europe and Asia on the samp to the Russian-Ukrainian guilt. And Donald Trump, notifying about the reach of the corners, I signed today at Cairo's chair with you, you will cut out. Yaquin was so famous for the situation from Russia. It is known that we can also persuade about the last stage of persuasion. The last stage, I just have all the accomplices of the yaks overgrown, under the control of the terrorist organization Hamas. The mines are on fire on the territory of the Gaza Strip and the type of troops of the State of Israel form the night territory of the sector. The devil is the reaction of having been in such a pleasure 3 times, in the details of what will happen to widows. She also did not understand the Hamas itself, that it was scattered. According to Trump's plan, the organization of the Maya is subject to the management of Gaza and technocratic means. That the organization will not save a full swim, both in the territory of the Gaza Strip and on the territory of the Zahidni bank of the Jordan River. And the popularity of Tilka among the Palestinian population has decreased in an hour of guilt. Members of the Hamas Politburo were in the hall for the Palestine sign, although from a formal point of view, the administration began to represent the Palestinian people with Mahmoud Abbas. And Hamas is one of the political groups of the Palestinian Authority. And the Arab powers are ready to turn a blind eye to the fact that Hamas has no greedy real representatives. So we still don't know which of the Palestinian terrorists, the yaks forget the terms for their Jacques Vuzlakani. A bottle of Israeli entry, in exchange for the bodies of people hired by Hamas, bent the stay of a terrorist organization in Polonia. Mova, maybe you're talking about the most important and authoritative people for terrorist organizations of the Palestinian Authority. Yaki with such a rank will be able to successfully replace those who were with the liquidated by Israel of the Rocky Guilt uprising. And with such a rank, the terrorist collapse on the territory of the Palestinian Authority is a significant impetus. for the formation and election of forces for a new attack on Israel and a new destabilization of the situation at a close outcome. And I'll get excited, you can advise even now that Donald Trump is in the White House. Those organizations will be gathering forces for such an attack. After Donald Trump's political career ends, the situation in the region may destabilize with a new risk. And it really will lie down, and as a result, Iraqi resources will be with direct Arab ranks. And 4 Palestinian terrorist organizations of their Maybit activities. And with the same torture before that, I went to the Arab orders to batchet the situation at Maybit at a close outcome. And they are ready for discounts up to a peaceful foundation with the Jewish state, and for discounts up to the downfall of the powerful. You can swim for the Crimea Line from beating in those situations Iran and Turkey to competitors. I am differently on a close outcome. The skin was extremely numb to the imperious message for the Rahunic exploitation of the so-called Palestinian torture. So unreasonable on discounts in Zagoli, it will be possible to get away from our stage of the Mairi. It will be possible to go to another, to the residual situation with the completion of guilt, to the Pashka Shliaka, to the normalization of the situation in the region, and it can be seen in the Mairi life, both in Israel and in the Gaza Strip, and on the west bank of the Iord River. Objective inventions in order to simply go through to another stage in other years today, there are no and again. The positions of Arab freaks will seriously lie, and so the kind of readiness from the thousands received in the state in Israel is turned to Iran. We are standing at Tehran. The finances of terrorist groups in the territory of the Palestinian Authority and Yemen are overestimated by Diva. And aggressively a terrorist group, I bombard Israel on the days of the Shliaks for becoming. So I'm 3 times having ears after I reach the myriads of torture. The bill of the niche kind of behavior is overestimated. And it can be seen in the most realistic option, even before exploration. Our Yaqui people spent 734 days at Polonia, one of the most cruel and non-Nazi organizations, with a participating retinue. People forget about the bees in a civilized world. It is rich who goes to pro-terrorist demonstrations with Palestinian purpose, in fact, ignore the share of the unfortunate. They will be strong from Polona, due to the efforts of President Donald Trump and the tough positions of the Israeli order and the Israeli army. About the fact that the power of good, it is consolidated. Zazda evil for evil is an abomination and a self-serving idiot in a civilized world. Overgrown. Those forces are still programs. Well, there is a but on the niche, so overestimating our evil Zaza was an ally of Hamas and the holy terrorism. Russia began with Vladimir Putin. Do not forget that Russia, I am an ally of Iran and Ukraine, provided a report about the Jewish state. Even during the hours of the Radinsky Union, before the destabilization of the situation in the region. And it was numb that all the destabilization continued in the distance. In order for the Mats to wiggle their hands for the continuation of the cruel Russian-Ukrainian guilt. So we will also sue Russia. The Ukrainians are also in Russia in their minds. You can get jealous of the Jews from the minds of the Hamas people, so turn around home. And Russia's guilt against Ukraine will end with good over evil, so a selfish idiot and a civilized world. I'm talking about domesticity with Putin. Daikuyu. Overestimate the topic of the channel, subscribe to it. Subscribe to my social channels at Patreon, Coffee, and Donatello. And helps to develop these resources, the sponsorship function of YouTube itself.